Hey there, it's the Machine of Nonsense episode. It doesn't matter because it's the Nonsense of the Year Awards 2023, Day 3, the final episode of our 3-day extravaganza into the best and some of the worst of 2023. We have best TV shows and best games on tap for you today, as we've already gone through a lot. We've gone through best characters, best moments, most disappointing, and best movies of 2023. If you haven't checked those out yet, I guess it's recommended. These can kind of go in any order, so you could watch or listen to Day 3 first, I guess. I haven't introduced anyone. I'm just realizing. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by Kayla.
Hey.
We got Mike.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up, Eric, or we're going to overlap with Netflix Geep Year. It's their leap year event that they're doing.
That's not a real thing, right?
I think so. I think it is.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was not aware. D, do you have any good Netflix information to share?
No, I don't. I have Netflix information.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We are here to do Day 3 of the NOTYs, the Nonsense of the Year Awards. Before we get into the best shows and best games of this year, I wanted to make a little bit of a note. It is now year 4 of this podcast. Our first episode launched February 1st, 2021. So we are in our 4th year. We have completed 3 rotations around the sun as this podcast. So we made it, folks. We're not going anywhere. And pursuant to that, we've done this now 3 times. So I'm going to go over the 2021 results and the 2022 results in best shows and best games, starting with 2021 in television. So we liked Castlevania Season 4. Quite good wrap up of that.
Hell yeah.
That was the last season, right?
That was the last season of the original run, yeah. Loki, Season 1, quite good.
Hell yeah. Yes.
Midnight Mass, phenomenal.
Oh, gosh.
And Arcane. Yeah.
Very good.
Pick, coming back this year. And Mare of Easttown.
Isn't it?
What a year in TV that was.
Good. Wow.
2021. We also had Reservation Dogs, Only Murders in the Building, WandaVision, and Succession all on our nominations that year. Great year in television. Games of the year 2021 were The Forgotten City. Remember, we were all into those loops. Time loops, the year of the loop. Monster Hunter Rise. I'm going to play that. I'm going to do it. I promise.
No, you're not.
Metroid Dread. Phenomenal game. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, highly underrated game. Now that it's been all over the place on Xbox and PlayStation Plus and all that, Game Pass, I think it's grown in everyone's estimation. And finally, Resident Evil Village. What a wild ride that was. We did a full spoiler cast of that one that year, and that was a game. So 2021, shows and games. What a fun time. 22. Best shows were... Why do we have so many listed here?
Oh,
Somehow, I guess I'll read them in order here. I bolded more than 5, so that's weird. I normally only bold the ones that win. In order here, at least nominally, Our Flag Means Death. The first season of Our Flag Means Death. Station 11. Remember Station 11, guys? Man, think about it often.
every day.
Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Season 1. We'll get Season 2, I think, this year. Andor, Season 1. Who knows when we'll get Season 2, but what a show. What a show. Arguably the best Star Wars has ever been, for some people. And finally, we got The Bear, which we might be talking about again this year, but Season 1 of The Bear was a big hit for the Machine of Nonsense. Best games. What's it, Mike?
I thought we had House of the Dragon on there. I'm glad we did not.
Well, it is bolded. We also bolded.
No, I don't think.
Stranger Things Season 4's House of the Dragon, Winning Time, and She-Hulk. So I don't know if we couldn't decide.
I think we had a lot of doubles, and we just had a lot of things that made it to round 2 of eliminations.
Yeah, I guess I just forgot to save. I don't know in the Excel sheet.
That's not like you.
No.
I don't know. I don't think you were bold in italicizing choices back in the day.
I was bolding. I was not italicizing or underlining. It's really opened a new world to me. Those formatting options. So beware, folks. Beware. Best games of 2022 were God of War Ragnarok, Cult of the Lamb, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Elden Ring, and Tunic was our number 1 game of 2022, and I think we were right.
That's a good list.
It has held up phenomenally well. On to 2023, I suppose. Let's do it. Where is that sheet? There it is. Start off with the picks from Ryan and Tomas. They have submitted their picks in each of shows and games. We will start with shows, and we'll start with Ryan. Why not? I'm going to go ahead and just copy paste and then read them off. Why not? Make it simple for us here. In shows, Ryan has Apothecary's Diaries at number 5. I don't know that one. Maybe that's a one that D can help us with. Shrinking, number 4, a really good show. Apple TV Plus show. Some of the best Harrison Ford work in a long time, very long time.
The best. I mean, it was good.
Kayla's now seen all of the Indiana Jones movies, so she can attest.
I'm also not a Harrison Ford hater anymore, so
dig it. Barry season 4, phenomenal finale to finish that series out. The Bear season 2 for Ryan, and Vinland Saga season 2. Was anyone surprised? Ryan loves him some Vinland Saga. Good list. I think several of these might come up again in our deliberations here. The numbers are weird. We don't need to mess with the numbers quite yet. Let's go with with Tomas's best show list as well. No overlap, I see. That's kind of fun. No overlap between their lists. Number 5, Queen Charlotte. Number 4, The Last of Us. Number 3, Somebody Somewhere. Which one's that one? Kayla, did you watch that one?
Somebody Somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I don't know that one.
Number 2, Res Dogs. Reservation Dogs, the final season. And The Bear, and he put a little bit of commentary here. Good show is good. So good time. Oh no, that is a overlap. I completely didn't see that both Ryan and Tomas had The Bear. So we have our first duplicate of the day. Things moved around. The numbers won't matter here in a second. All right, on to those actually present in this podcast today. I'll start it off. Why not? I have, and that's how the Discord is set up here. So, my best shows of 2023. The Bear is my number 5. Hey, look, we tripled up. Tomas is right. Good show is good. I wasn't sure if after season 1's like just incredibly kind of manic energy and chaos, if that would work a second time, where it left off characters and stuff. I was like kind of satisfied with just the one season. And they pulled it off. They pulled off like kind of pushing everything forward in really interesting ways, really good character development, and whenever season 3 comes and whatever it is, I think I'm here for it. So, The Bear was my number 5. Number 4, Shrinking. I had Shrinking as number 4. Already mentioned, great Harrison Ford performance, really good Jason Segel. I wish I had prepared. And Kayla, do you have the female doctor's name offhand by any chance?
Gabby?
Yeah, she was a standout. I'll find it before we get to the end here because
good energy.
Just one of the funniest characters.
I say all those words with purpose. Hot fun.
Yes, one of the like funniest, most charming characters that I saw this year in a show, and a lot of heart in Shrinking as well. Good family drama, and good show. Good show is good, as Tomas would say. Number 3, Scavenger's Reign, a new entrant to our NOTYs here. We talked a decent bit about this animated show from HBO this year. Came out of nowhere, just like really one of the surprises of the year, and just really cool art, really the most bizarre like world and creatures I've ever seen in a thing, in video games, in movies and TV shows, in any art. Like the most creative kind of creatures and world I think I've ever kind of experienced in a thing. And I don't think that's saying too much. It's just like mind-blowing what they created there. So Scavenger's Reign was my number 3. Beef, Netflix's Beef, Netflix and A24. A24's first foray into television was my number 2. Really, really great performances by Stephen Yen and Ali Wong, and just a really good ensemble that like a lot of characters get to cook, and from such a kind of a small concept of a disagreement about a parking lot and like who had the right of way, turning into where we get to in the finale of that, is just it's amazing.
It's just how things can spiral out of control and kind of like distract you, but it is real good.
And like I think the coolest trick that it plays is that, yeah, super simple concept, super simple like setup and even execution. And to get to point A to point B, I felt like at all times it felt very realistic. Like this could probably happen if, the right circumstances were in place and the right, crazy people ran into each other. Like, it felt real. It felt like really like a real story in a lot of ways. So Beef was my number 2 there. And finally, number 1 for me in best shows of 2023 was The Fall of the House of Usher. What can I say? This show was tailor-made for me. This is our, we've already talked about like Midnight Mass on this show. Drawing a blank right now. Mike Flanagan.
Mhm.
I've enjoyed everything he's done over there at Netflix. I enjoyed his Dr. Sleep as well, especially the director's cut. Dude just knows creepy. Dude just knows horror. And also he's adapting in modern ways all of Edgar Allan Poe's work, and doing it by taking heavy influence from Succession, one of the most successful shows on television. It's the full package for me. It's horror, it's grotesque, it's family
It's
drama.
The horror aspect is kind of just so much of a vibe, a presence that's there,
and
instead of like. There are obviously really disgusting things to look at, but it's not. I don't know. He does it so well. It's not in your face. It's classy.
I agree, and that's a staple of Edgar Allan Poe. People think of him as he's this like prolific horror writer and everything else, but like dude was kind of just writing poetry, and you had to like your mind could do whatever it wanted to do with how like gory or whatever you wanted to get with this. It is very subtle, and I think it was captured perfectly by Flanagan in Fall House of Usher. So that's my show list for 2023. We've done this 3 times now, and we've just had 3 great years of TV. It's been so fun doing this. So D, you're next up on my before we go to you, actually, Apothecary's Diaries. Are you familiar with this? Is this an anime?
It is an anime.
Okay, cool.
I am familiar with it. There isn't a lot I can speak on it because I haven't finished it yet.
Gotcha.
But it's basically a period set drama about a young woman who's the apothecary at the royal palace, and it's set in a China adjacent sort of setting, just to kind of give a overall thing. And she's very much I would say one of the more well-written characters like of the year.
Okay. Nice. Apothecary's Diaries. Yeah, wanted to give it its stars here. Ryan didn't really write any commentary or anything, so and that was the only one I've never heard of. So cool. D, do you want to give us your show list of 2023?
Yeah. So my show list, I will just go ahead and start with the obvious ones. So I really also thoroughly enjoyed The Bear season 2. After catching up, right as the season 2 was starting, I was like frothing at the mouth already for more. So it really satisfied that for me. Vinland Saga season 2. Just, upon Ryan's recommendation of you have to catch up, you have to finish. The man could not be more right about the show. And if you've still been sleeping on it, even now, great time to watch it. Yeah, because it's not over. The ride's still going. And then One Piece live action.
Nice.
It just surprised me in more ways than one. And I really enjoyed every episode and sitting and watching with the family and just being able to be like, oh, that's an interesting choice. Oh, they did this. Oh, this music's slapping. Oh. And just kind of like the overall just joy that it brought. Then Good Omens season 2, which is something I've been waiting to start back up for a while, and just the finale of that had me like crying and silent and mad and experiencing almost all the stages of grief within a few seconds. And just it left on this amazing, like, essentially cliffhanger that just had me just upset that why would they make a season 2 for this story that didn't have a season 2, and then also leave me on a cliffhanger like they're going to make another season again. And yeah, they just phenomenal performances. Just man, I don't know. It really, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, nah, I've really enjoyed Good Omens season 2. And another one, if you haven't watched Good Omens, it's such a like, for me, it's a 10 out of 10, but it's probably the most like, it's like an 8 out of 10, like quality wise, type of show. But my enjoyment is 10 out of 10. And finally, one that kind of hit me at the end of the year that I just completely had forgotten about was Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
Gotcha.
Cool show. I like that one.
I think Tomas is the only detractor on that one, I want to say.
I love when they do a reimagining and you dive deeper into characters you maybe weren't so attached to, and for them to get me attached to these other characters so effectively and also be just as ridiculous as the movies and the graphic novel. Like, yeah, it really, I really was like, oh no, I'm a teenager again. This is cringe.
Oh no.
Yeah, just early on, it seemed like they really flesh out the evil gang of boyfriend people, whatever, a lot more than that movie did. So I thought it was really neat.
Do you guys think it would... Kayla's never seen the original, and it's honestly, I saw the original in theaters.
I think I've seen pieces, you know.
Right.
Definitely know the gist.
Is this good for a first viewing, or should you like go back and watch the movie first or something?
You should play the 360 beat 'em up.
It's on Game Pass, so okay.
No, I would say start with this.
Okay, cool.
It seems like a Final Fantasy VII remake style of retelling, some like where they're.
I jumped in there too.
Yeah, Kayla knows exactly.
Right, and I think that's a good spot, a good way to jump into that game.
Nice.
Mostly,
it does. Yeah, it does have its own feet to stand on. I will agree with Mike that you don't necessarily need the previous viewing or knowledge of what's going on to. They put out like what they're trying to do like halfway through. So,
like I saw that original movie like Eric's in theater and never watched it again, never thought about it again. So I don't really have a lot of like remembrance of it, and I was fine with just picking right back up and with this. So check it out for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do that, Kayla. Add to the billion shows we already have on the backlog.
The backlog, it grows.
So awesome list. Awesome listy. Good stuff. One of my most enjoyable moments of the year was watching that first episode of One Piece with you guys. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. So, Kayla.
I'm up next. For shows, number 5, I also have Shrinking. An Apple joint where we haven't really talked about what the show is.
Not so much.
Jason Segel is a psychiatrist, therapist.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can write prescriptions.
I think they're all doctors. I'm pretty sure.
Right. So like Gabby, this lovely lady, Jason Segel, I don't know his character's name, and Harrison Ford all work there. Harrison Ford's like the main guy, the boss, and Jason Segel's wife dies. Yeah. They have like a teenage daughter, and so he's this like therapist who's like, you know, crying in the corner, dealing with his own super trauma and also trying to help other people deal with their trauma. And he starts to take like a very unprofessional approach of like, yeah, just fucking hit me, you know, like this guy has anger issues. He just kind of starts to press boundaries that he shouldn't and gets into messes. And it's a wild ride. Of course, his daughter's mad. He's got like young girls swimming in his pool late night, doing all kinds of drugs, drinking. Like he's being a terrible dad. He's being a terrible employee. It's good. It's good stuff. Harrison Ford is there as like, his like mentor trying to help him through it, and Gabby's like his wife's best friend, and there's a neighbor, and it's all great. It's all just a lot of fun. Heartwarming, like you really feel like you're going through this terrible stuff with them, and they do it so beautifully.
Jessica Williams is Gabby. The easiest possible name to find, to forget. But just really want to. Gabby should have made my best characters. Now that I'm like really digging in, she's great. But good as show.
Apple. Number 4, Res Dogs. I don't know if I've ever put Res Dogs on my list. Willie Jack was definitely never a character that was on my top 5 nominations. I know she made ours, and I'm down for that. But she was on mine this time. I loved the season finale of Res Dogs. I loved everything in between. It was a really nice shift to what I thought the show was about, to just like not totally different. Like it's still just people on the reservation, but it went places really, really kooky and spiritually, and I thought it also did a lot with emotion and like grieving and moving past and giving respect to the loved ones. Lily Gladstone was Gladstone.
Yeah. Top-notch stuff from her.
Yeah, Oscar nominated for Killers of the Flower Moon. She's in this. Willie Jack's like auntie.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Number 3, I have Scavenger's Reign.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, beautiful surprise. Loved it. Ozzy was my number 1 character. Not number 1. Was she my number 1 character?
She was high up there.
She was on your 5 for
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just so much fun. Oh no, Carlack's number 1. Duh.
Yeah, duh.
Oh yeah.
Number 2, I got Ted Lasso. Always a great for me. This was the series finale, so there was, I think there will be possibly some spinoffs. They hinted at least, whether they do a spinoff or not, they at least gave us like bits of like, hey, this is what Rebecca and Juno are doing. This is what, Ted's doing, and this is what Roy's doing. But this show constantly has a lot of emotional writing in it, a lot of overcoming obstacles. Man, Ted is like my favorite. I go to work hoping I can be Ted. Ted is my influence, I believe. Almost made a lot of my. I think I had multiple scenes from this in my top 5 moments, but
Hey Jude.
They didn't make my cut, but good stuff. Number 1, I got The Last of Us. Has nobody said The Last of Us yet?
Tomas had The Last of Us.
Oh, Tomas
that's
had
right.
The Last of Us. Okay. I'm like, whoa, guys. Whoa.
Didn't make it.
It came out so long ago. I mean, it's already been like a year since it came out. It was really good stuff. Obviously, a property we all already love. And I'm excited to see more.
Yeah.
We had multiple moments come up in our moment discussion from this, so.
Yeah. Catherine O'Hara announced for season 2.
Yeah.
Undisclosed role.
Wonder what that's. That's interesting. I was telling Kayla I want her to do her signature Kevin, but say Ellie. I want that to happen at some point. Or Abby. She can say Abby. That's fine.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
That's my shows.
That's the shows. Mike, you get to finish us off here.
All right. My list is a lot of shows that have just been kind of the backbone of the NOTYs for me for a long time, and they're all done. They're all ending now, so it's kind of the end of the era for this list here. I'm gonna start with Barry. Final season of Barry, I believe season 4. One what this show started out to be, like more of a like hitman and acting classes, and to what it evolves into at the end is just unbelievable. Just great performance by all the lead people, Henry Winkler, Bill Hader, so on. I forget the actress who plays Sally, but she's great in this.
NoHo Hank, love him.
NoHo Hank.
No, Hank.
And just still have that dark humor as it always has, but just great dialogue, great emotional, like, you know, endings for every character, and just a really great complete package. And can't wait to see what Bill Hader does next. He's moving on to film apparently, and
Yeah, baby, he's coming back.
yeah, so love Barry. My number 4 is Scavenger's Reign.
Hell yeah.
All right.
We're italicized.
Just a wild experience, like what Eric said, just to see the complete life cycle of like everything on this weird Jumanji planet that just wants to kill you, was crazy. And it has great characters to go with this wild setting, and really cool. I like what they kind of set up, this kind of Event Horizon kind of weird cult ending thing too. Hopefully we get a season 2. Just great stuff. Number 3 is Reservation Dogs. Really blew me away every week. Every episode, you didn't know what was going to happen. The Deer Lady episode was just amazing.
Wild.
What it does with like language. Like, I've never seen a show do that with language barrier. How they do that in that episode. You know, in the first few seasons were all about Daniel and getting to California and trying to use his dream to get out of this place. And they did that at the end of season 3. And then this season is just dealing with what now? Like, what
Coming back.
Yeah, we can't just stay here. We have to come back. We have to. And then they all find out that this place isn't that bad. Like the first few seasons paint the res as a prison, you know, as like a place, like just a place, a no good place. But then this season, like they all grow, and in their eyes, the place becomes a community that they love and respect. And it's really beautiful all the time. You know, Alora Dannon, she decides, well, I'm going to do something else. I can't, this place is great, but I'm going to do my own thing. Willie Jack is going to become like the backbone of the community at such a young age. She's going to be like the spiritual guide and leader now. Cheese going to be Cheese, you know, he's out there cheesing. And Bear is just, he's going to break that weird man baby cycle that a lot of men in this community can tend to have, and he's gonna
definitely his father. He's breaking cycles. Yeah,
right. And just so it's so well done. Ever you know, the Ethan Hawke episode is such great stuff. The crazy flashback episodes where you find out, you know, oh, this was the crew back then.
Right. They don't tell you. The way that you're just like in it and you're like, wait, is Big looks young. This is big. That's really big though, right? And then the other ones aren't. And you're like, okay, the story, you just kind of let it unfold that, oh, that's who all these people are. These people that I've met as elders. Oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
They dealt with all this before too. And they, you know, and it's the episode, the moment that almost made it on my top 5 moments was like the Ocean's 11 style heist scene to break Maximus out, and it's just so great to see all of these all of these characters just come together and get this shit done, and it's so like just the whole thing is so goofy, and I don't know. The show made me cry multiple times. Just a special thing. One of the greatest shows ever. And it's done. It's over. And let's move on to one of the other greatest shows of all time, The Bear season 2. If season 1 mastered that chaotic in the kitchen energy, and then this season's like, nah, we're not doing that this time. We're really not, like, we're gonna do something else, and it's great. It's Fishes, we talked a lot about. I think is just so expertly done with so many people. Such a perfect family dinner episode, like holiday dinner episode. You have so much chaos going on in the kitchen. You have the two idiot brothers trying to con people into giving them $1,500 to buy a box of trading cards. You got this great scene between Carmi and Michael, John Barenthal, and Jeremy Allen White, and just trying to dig anything out of his trip to Copenhagen, right?
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
And you just learn so much from so little about just how these characters are, why they're so how they are, and that episode's it. Forks after that is great. Every episode is great. I love kind of the stuff with Io and Sydney and Bear and Carmi, like just will they, won't they kind of stuff. There's this really cute scene where they're trying to convince Oliver Platt to kind of loan them the money they need to really make this kind of, they want to get a Michelin star, and Sydney's just like, come on, let's get a star, and she's so plucky and just like, I have Carmi, like with Carmi we can do this, and then by the end of it she's not, like she's only seen all of these restaurants and all of these failures, and she's like, if I put all my eggs in this basket and it fails, what do I do after that, and it just, every character gets a lot more, and it's all great. It's all great. And bring on season 3 whenever that is, because it is just an exceptional show. So good. My number 1 is, oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that finale, Carmi in the
Trapped in the
freezer,
walking.
and
Carmi in the cooler.
And just that 5 minutes of dialogue between him and to himself at points, and then to his to Richie, where that stayed with me for days. I was not well for a couple days there, just like how you can torpedo yourself even though you have like these incredible intentions. Like,
Yeah.
goodness, that was something. So yeah. Anyway. Number 1 for Mike. Sorry, I had to interject.
No, thank you. It's Succession. Ended just perfectly, I thought. I think it's season 3 or 4. That's episode Connor's Wedding. It is the episode where it finally happens, what's been building up since episode 1. When Logan dies, what happens? Like when the head dog is gone, and it's Connor's, everyone's at Connor's wedding except Logan. He is going on a trip to meet with Alexander Skarsgård's character, I believe, and we get a call from Tom saying Logan was in the bathroom, and we think he's dying. Like, we can't bring him back. We're trying. And it's just like, is this happening? Like, it was the most unbelievable experience I've had watching a TV show. I've never felt like the sensation I have, just like, is this really holy shit? This is how they're doing it? Is he lying? Is this Is this like Logan just messing with them? Because you never really get to see Logan. And it's all of these characters having to deal with it like in real time. And it is an unbelievable experience. Crazy. And then after that, it's the show having to deal with Logan not being there, and the rest of the characters pull it off so well. Kieran Culkin does an unbelievable job of like wanting to, okay, Dad's gone. I pre-grieved, he says. I don't even need to grieve right now. I'm gonna be the killer that Dad was. And he's not. By the time we get, the show does such a great job with time. It's almost like every episode is like half a day or something. By the end of the season, we're finally at Logan's funeral, and Kieran Culkin he can't even do the eulogy. He's completely broken down. And in this show, showing weakness like that means you lose. And you know at that point, like, he's done. And I really like how it wound up with people think that it comes down to this final boardroom vote, whether Kendall's going to get it or basically they're going to nominate someone else. And everyone thinks Shiv kind of gave up because she's out by that moment. But no, with Tom ends up winning, her child gets to go on to be
Mama Bear.
The potential king or queen of this empire. Right. You know, like she still gets like to win, I felt.
Right.
And I had no problem with that at all. Just a great season. Probably my favorite show ever.
Wow.
Loved it. Great performances from top to bottom. The funniest show on television, mixed with just the best drama and backstabbing stuff ever. And it's great. It's perfect.
Yeah. Good. That was an Oscar speech, Mike. That was amazing. No, that was Succession. We gotta get back on that, Kayla. We gotta do it.
Yeah, we will.
We will.
Sorry if I'm.
No.
We're here.
It's all been spoiled for me at this point. So
okay.
It's all good. And that's what we're here to do.
Time, anyways.
Yeah. Honestly, it makes it more interesting. Almost, it makes it more intriguing to keep going. I think to see how that all shakes out. Okay. That is all of the nominations. So we have The Bear, season 2 was nominated 4 times. Is that how that works? I don't know. I have bolded it, italicized it, and underlined it. So I think that's 4 nominations for The Bear season 2. So for me, that pretty much locks in The Bear on our list. As far as other doubles up or triples up, we have The Last of Us, we have Vinland Saga season 2, Barry the final season, and then we have triple for Shrinking, Reservation Dogs final season, and Scavenger's Reign, 3 nominations for each. So we've got a list to go through here. For my part, Barry, I wish it came out later in the year. Like as we've been talking about it, it's just like, man, I did love Barry. I wish I
yes, fantastic.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That much more. I think Scavenger's Reign needs to be on our top 5 because it came out of nowhere, and it's honestly, I think it's as good as anything else on the list. It's as creative or more creative than anything on the list. 3 nominations.
Put it on there.
Put it on there.
I love that idea.
Okay. So The Bear and Scavenger's Reign locked in.
You can leave Vinland Saga there too, because I think That's got a lot of heat.
I think so. I mean,
I
I
think
think
Reservation Dogs.
yeah, especially okay. I'm throwing Reservation Dogs in there as well. I think we should lock in Reservation Dogs.
I think we should
Reservation Dogs is like the show of the pod for me.
Feels
I
like
just from seeing that trailer when like the day of we were recording that podcast and just thinking, oh, it's like Reservoir Dogs, and then to what it became and what it means to me and to everyone else. I
the
think
most
that's
heart of anything.
Oh God, it is my tea. The show we're talking.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single show on this list that you guys have talked about more than this show offhandedly, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's a real one, man. It's so good. I'm so glad I've watched it and that it exists. I think I will rewatch it. You know what I mean? Like someday I will
I'd want
watch
to.
it again. Yeah. Like,
and I can't think of the creator's name offhand, but I listened to a great interview with him. Just seems like a real dude. Like, just seems like, okay, it's kind of loosely based on like his life and his experiences growing up in like on reservation land and stuff. And a lot of he mentioned a lot of the characters are just pulled straight from people he grew up with and stuff. So.
And he took such great swings and didn't care, and it's so great, so good.
Okay, so we got what do we have? We got 3 locked in at this point. We've got the Bear, we've got Scavenger's Reign, and Reservation Dogs. I like the idea of keeping Vinland Saga, figuring out how to get Vinland Saga on here. It sounds like my jam. Once Netflix recommended it to me recently, and everything I've heard, I like how passionately both Ryan and Dee have spoken about it. And I feel like it's probably something I'm gonna dig once I have a chance to check it out. Love historical context and all that. Wish we could have got Blue Eyed Samurai on here somewhere, because that's another one. But that's a conversation for another.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. Okay, so let's pencil in Vinland Saga, and
The Last of Us.
You think it's The Last of Us? Over
Shrinking?
My vote.
Over Shrinking. So we did have 3 for Shrinking. 2 for The Last of Us. If we're talking about which is like the final 5, which gets that final spot, it would come down to basically Barry, Shrinking, and The Last of Us battling it out for that final spot. If we want to keep Vinland Saga as like number 4/5 on there.
Yeah, I like making that choice. I think we can do that.
Okay. Yeah, The Last of Us, I mean, it didn't make my list. It's an adaptation of my favorite video game of all time, a spot that still hasn't, no one's still taken that crown for me, up until this day, and it's just it's a mix of a very like faithful adaptation. I feel like they hit just about every spot that they needed to hit. But then they added great context to characters and just fleshed out things and added some stuff that didn't feel like filler. I didn't really feel like it was a lot of fluff or anything else.
I also enjoyed just the energy of it, the fact that I did get to go to work. And people would be like, "Did you watch the show The Last of Us?" Like people, and I'm like, "Oh shit, girl, yeah, I did. I know stuff about this. Let me tell you." And that it got people to people who haven't played the game before to get into that world. So I had more than just a watching experience with it.
It's a good call. I love that idea of we don't have too many of those anymore, like a water cooler like show or whatever, or movie, or
No.
or anything.
I've even tried to start it for True Detective at work, but
I wish.
football's also been happening, so
Football.
Cringe.
I'm
Right.
very excited. I hope it keeps up that momentum for season 2, and it will still stay a water cooler, because I want the red wedding to happen again. Essentially, not to spoil like the goings on of season 2 of The Last of Us for anyone, but I hope we can have that moment again. In
The Joel and Ellie of it doesn't bother you guys. Like, you guys really feel like it's the same kind of relationship that we get on from the game. Like, I don't know.
Ellie I think Ellie's a little bit more faithful in my opinion than Joel.
Just them, like their
Dynamic.
their bond, their thing.
The show gives more time to other characters than the game does, and
less time to Ellie and Joel.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And maybe it's some of the
double-edged
connections.
sword a bit for the show, and it's great that we got like the Bill and Frank episode. It's great that we get the Left Behind stuff in the main season.
Yeah,
the stuff with Riley, but it adds more and but then subtracts something greater, I think, that the show needs.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable to say.
You get a lot more time with those people, of course, in the game. It's a however many hour game that you spend just surviving as the two of you, and you don't get
the two of them talking about a movie poster. You don't get a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
I do have to be careful not to like conflate the two things, like, because in my head, these two characters have this just bond or whatever else, and
they do not.
Right.
And I guess sometimes I just already have that notion in my experience, so it didn't bother me. But maybe as someone who doesn't have the experience with them that I have, you would miss that.
I think that's reasonable.
But I still
criticism.
like it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, exactly. I do think it comes down to like just like I still very much enjoyed my time, but I think Mike's right on pretty much.
I think it was great. Like, even we got, I don't know, what's her name?
Melanie Linsky. No, okay.
No, in the earlier, the blonde, the chick from Fringe.
Oh yeah, Tara. Well, she's what is her name?
Yeah,
from Fringe.
Some
Fringe lady.
Some fun. I liked her performance a lot.
Fringeette.
Anyways,
she's really good.
Digging.
Yeah.
Oh, but The Last of Us as the number 5 versus Shrinking or Barry.
That's kind of the I think what we're kind of
That's my
debating
choice.
and arguing. Oh, you do choose The Last of Us in that spot over Shrinking or okay. I mean, it was your number 1, right? Like yeah, on yours. So that makes sense. That's fine. I would feel perfectly fine with that. I probably, in the same way as like it's tough for me to shake like the Last of Us game and like separate it from the show, Barry season 4 from like Barry season 1 through 3 of like loving those characters and everything else versus what they actually did in season 4 and where they end up and how the show wraps up. It's also a tough task to do for me. Cause I mean, you guys already mentioned like NoHo Hank is one of my favorite characters of anything ever. Did I like where he ended up in season 4? I don't know. Some of his decision making and stuff. Some of Barry's decision making, but we do have like just some great moments. Like the moment Mike mentions of him going into that Walmart or whatever with the guns and that weird trippy dream sequence. We didn't mention it. I don't even know if it is a dream sequence or not. That is her name Carrie Coon or is that a different actor?
Carrie Coon is Leftovers. Gone
right.
Girl.
Okay, that's okay. But yeah.
The Gilded Age.
Sally?
Sally, yeah.
I don't know
Sally,
Sally's actress.
her name, her actually. But Sally, like she has that like freak out with the construction equipment and everything, like the house falling apart and stuff. That was just in the moment was just like, whoa. I love when a whether it's a dream sequence or a psychedelic thing like that, like hits the mark of like, yeah, I'm as disoriented as I think they want me to be, kind of thing. So yeah, Barry's got some high highs. That this season.
I guess
So good.
like the stuff about Barry that we've already liked. I didn't like the we're in the middle of nowhere, Jesus people, Sally diner.
You didn't like that?
Weird. No.
Oh, that's the best stuff. Oh, they're just they just spend their days, nights sitting apart from each other with headphones on, watching different stuff on YouTube. Like, they're just
No, because that's not just like when you were a part of Barry, when you were a part of their story up until this point. This is not where I seen it. This is
where they got. Is where I wound up.
This is not what I wanted. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. I like that I think they close that loop well. Like, you know, they bring us back around in a good way. But I probably agree with Kayla that like that was disorienting in a different way, in a not good way. There's some fun
in the
to be
storyline.
had.
Like I was like, what the fuck?
It's still really like it's still got that great like dark humor. Like there's still points where I'm like cackling at like what the fuck is going on here. I can't believe
the Raven. I mean, come on.
The Raven, right?
The Raven.
I like the Raven and NoHo stuff.
So okay. So we've talked about Barry. We've talked about The Last of Us. If we don't have to.
Is shrinking like a limited thing? Do we know if it's going to potentially come back?
It felt limited to me. What do you think?
It felt limited.
I think that factors in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We might not get another chance to talk about shrinking. This is the last chance to talk about Barry.
Sure. Yeah. The Last of Us will live on. We know it's getting a season 2, and I think the plans to do 3 seasons, from what I've kind of gathered, on that. So, shrinking. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. I think what adds to the limited nature, or the reason I think it's going to be limited, is like Harrison Ford's character. Kind of he goes through the early stages of like is it Alzheimer's that he's dealing with?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
MS. It's like a
type of motor function issue he's having.
Like and some of the great parts about his character are like him coming to terms with that. Near the end of that,
can't drive to work, you know,
and he kind of falls in love through that struggle.
Aww.
And I think that's
and he's trying to connect with his daughter and admit to his daughter that he needs help, and
yeah,
it's good stuff.
I think it's worthy maybe of our list, just for the simple fact that like it turned Kayla's cold heart for Harrison Ford into like a lukewarm heart, maybe. I think
he can act.
I think that says something. And he's like kind of what would you say, Kayla? Like the third lead? I mean, really, it's Jason Segel and Jessica Williams. It's, you know, they're are kind of the 1 and 2 in a lot of ways, and the daughter even. Jason Segel's daughter.
I was thinking that too.
So he might be the 4th lead. But any have you checked out Barry at all, D?
No.
No, that's fine.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Honestly, after this, I will bump it up out of the backlog, if I'm being honest.
I love that you're going to be able, like, if you do decide to watch it, or you could be able to binge it all, like it's all out there now, and you can just like, you don't have to wait, because there were weird delays between seasons and stuff that we had to deal with, and that was not great, especially for a story that's kind of all taking place within at least the first like 3 seasons, all within like a pretty short time period, and everything. Having, I think it probably would be a pretty bingeable show in a
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so good. I don't know if it's the best season of Barry. It doesn't have like that dirt bike chase scene kind of scene that this series kind of always has, like one of those big, like, this is the moment of the season kind of thing. It's a more even.
It just didn't have like Barry in it, like
it focuses on a lot of other people.
The battle between the Raven and NoHo's, like multiple. There's multiple battle points there. It's just not Barry.
Those were good. A couple of those like shootouts were a lot of fun.
They were good.
All of the stuff, like having the meetings at like Dave and Buster's, you know, those camera shots of swinging around that table.
That was very good.
Were very good. Bill Hader's he's fucking an exceptional filmmaker, it seems. And I don't know. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. I could have either of the shows in the 5th spot.
I could too. I just think The Last of Us is kind of more
us,
and it's just like, it did make such records, you know, it did stuff.
It's important.
Outside
it's an important show.
Right.
I guess it is something to have it, you know, the game is probably the best story in a game, arguably,
yeah.
And the show's probably the best adaptation.
Like,
of a game, you know what I mean? So
yeah, have we?
Even though I have problems with it's very good.
I want The Last of Us. Who's got a problem with it?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it would feel weird if I did. I guess my pick would be Shrinking, personally, but
D?
I wouldn't feel bad about The Last of Us.
Because these 3 shows are shows I have not fully watched. The Last of Us, I like got towards I think I got like episode 6. So I got to enjoy. I did the thing where I was like, I already
One Piece on there. D, let's do it. Gang. Let's do this.
Here's the thing, and this is what I'll say, just kind of like to further push home Kayla's point. This was kind of like the year of like adaptions that proved that it could be done.
Yeah, good point.
And I think having Last of Us on our list is really representative of that.
Cool.
Okay, that's well said. I like it.
See, we talked that out.
I like it. Okay. Okay, let's do it.
Guys, we did it. We didn't leave Greta Gerwig off of the Best Director nominations. Wow, they broke
feel
records.
With that one? Okay. All right.
It's good. Okay. All right. So what's up, Kayla? You got something?
You're gonna give us our final list.
I'm gonna give us our final list. Barry and Shrinking present the Nonsense of the Year Awards 2023 for best shows are The Bear Season 2, Scavenger's Reign, Reservation Dogs The Final Season, Vinland Saga Season 2, and The Last of Us from HBO.
Put like a little space between them, because you're gonna do the thing next year. You're gonna be like, "Why did I leave all of these?"
I'm unbolding. Yeah,
I like
this. We need to know what was bold.
We will all know that Barry the final season was damn good in 2023.
All right, sure.
We know. Don't make me start highlighting. Great show list. All right, we are back, and it's the Machine of Nonsense 2023 Best Games. We are in our final category of our 3 days of the Nonsense of the Year Awards. This is a great games year. everyone. So that's why, for the first time in 3 years, we've chosen games as our final category. It had been shows the last 2 years for obvious reasons, I think. It was great shows. But now it is games. Ryan and Tomas have submitted their lists. I'm going to go through their lists. Ryan decided to have some funny names here. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, so did Tomas. So we'll go through this. We'll figure. We'll try to translate here. Ryan's number one was Baldur's Grape, which I believe translates to Baldur's Gate 3. We will continue to talk about Baldur's Gate 3. So I'll go on to Ryan's next one. Jedi Eye of the Tiger, I believe translates to Star Wars Jedi: Survivor. Great game. I don't know if anyone else will be talking about that one. If not, I'll give it its due in just a little while here. Number 3, Sea of Mars, because that's the only thing that rhymes with stars, apparently. A game we've talked about quite a bit. Great throwback JRPG. Hi-Fi Mush for Hi-Fi Rush. And finally, Zelda Tears of the Man Cave. I'm not quite sure I understand that one, but Zelda was quite good. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Tomas's list. Disgaea 7. And then he puts in parentheses, the grind. Loves him some grind on that one. Tomas also picked Tears of the Kingdom, but he chose to eulogize it with the tears of the kingdom don't fall, they crash around me. The classic meme. We all know it. Tomas also picking Sea of Stars, also in his third slot. I don't know if these are in order, guys. I don't think either of them told me. So, but you guys both had it in your number 3 spot, Sea of Stars. RE4 Remake was number 4 for Tomas, and he didn't stop there with his remakes because Mario RPG remake, Super Mario RPG, the remake also came on Tomas's list. Great list from Tomas, as always. How do I get these darn bullet points off? Who cares? So we've already got 2 for Sea of Stars and 2 for Tears of the Kingdom. Who would have guessed that those games would have been duplicated here? D might have to leave a little early, so we'll let him start us off from there. What's on your list, D, of best games of 2023?
So my first one is going to be Hi-Fi Rush.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
It's just, the surprise shadow drop, fun, just beautifully, just like the aesthetic, just the taking the swing of making a rhythm-based action game. It really set itself out in a just full ocean of like bangers this year, and for it to just kind of like come up to my frontal when I was thinking about all the games that have come out, all the amazing games that have come out this year. I had to put it up there in my top 5. The next one is going to be RE4 Remake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to say more. I don't have to say more. It's so much fun. It's such a fun game. And they really just kind of captured everything that I loved about that game, and then did it even better. Yeah, it's great. Sea of Stars, obviously. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Spider-Man 2.
You had Sea of Stars as well, and Tears of the Kingdom, and Spider-Man 2. What a game.
Did you italicize? Well, no, I guess Ryan didn't have RE4. Never mind.
He didn't, no. He did not. What else? We Sea of Mars. Let's get this off the It's so hard with these nonsense. These people.
So much nonsense on this pod.
People of nonsense. Great list. Already some duplications here. Obviously, some standouts. Already. Yeah, RE4, Sea of Stars, Tears of the Kingdom. Wonderful games. Might come up in my list as well. I'll do mine next. So the Fall of the House of Usher. No. My number 5 is RE4 remake. A game that I've always loved. I always liked when that first one came out. A good friend of mine at the time borrowed me his GameCube to allow me to play that game, and I fell in love with it. I was among the camps that felt that it did need a remake, that it has shown its age since whatever 2004 or 5, whenever that came out. As I've attempted to like replay it and successfully replay it in the past, I'm like, this game's great for its time. And the remake did everything that I wanted it to. Took out a lot of the cringy stuff, just the 2004 of it all or whatever. But kept
It's not that long ago.
but kept the just progression, like just one of the best paced kind of games of all time.
Fun.
From starting out, like it's in 3 parts because it's in 3 locations, and it becomes kind of 3 different games. Like it's a pretty straightforward horror game when you're in the village. You move to the castle game, and it becomes more Resident Evil-y, more like find the key and unlock this and puzzle, that. And then finally it crescendos to the island where it's just a full-on like action shooter game. And
get the grenade launcher, get whatever.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. And it just does all those things like at the top of its game. And now with a modern control scheme and modern graphics and modern sound and voice acting, and some cool little additions, like the lake kind of becoming an open area, just able to do things that the first version of the game was not able to at the time. It's the full package. To me, like I've said it before, it's the ultimate version of that game at this point for me. Like the original doesn't even like come to mind for me. I know that everyone doesn't agree with that. Number 4, Spider-Man 2. Miles Morales was my favorite character of this year, and in large part to this game. I think he's well fleshed out. Arguably, he's not even like the main character of this. I mean, it's a dual protagonist game, and Harry gets a lot of screen time. Mary Jane gets a lot of screen time in a not a huge game or whatever, not like a 100-hour RPG or anything, but like Miles just shines out in so many ways.
He's so much of glue that holds all that chaos together.
Yeah. Really, he is. Like he's the more interesting, I think, story character and everything in that.
Everybody else is falling apart.
And it's great what they do with. I was a little concerned. How are they going to make like 2 protagonists work, and how is that all gonna? But from a technical standpoint, easily swapping between the 2. Story standpoint of like it makes sense. Like, oh, why do I have to complete this mission as Peter versus Miles versus where they are in the timeline and the world and all of that. It just all makes perfect sense, and the game is just beautiful to look at. Plays
fighting
phenomenally.
So fun.
Yeah,
fighting so good.
It's just like that first game, which was that first game was so good, and it's just like, how can we improve on like all of those systems? And I can't think of a single like way it's not just an improvement on like every.
They just add you get a whole new bucket of stuff.
Yeah. So Spider-Man 2, my number 4. My number 3 is Zelda. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I've been made a believer. I did not particularly. I did not love Breath of the Wild. I liked it. I thought it was good. I found a lot more flaws than I think the average player of Breath of the Wild found when that game came out and stuff. And Tears of the Kingdom just kind of washed over all those things. Like, it was just like, oh, they kind of fixed just about everything that I didn't like about Breath of the Wild. I liked the story in this one better. I liked the abilities better. We didn't get to talk enough about Ascend. We talked mostly off mic about Ascend, but it's just such a cool ability. But the fact you can build anything, or not, like, I mean, just like the creativity of allowing you to kind of do just about anything that you want. Just a really impressive game, and I can't speak enough about. It's an impressive game on its own, but it is 10 times more impressive that it's doing it on the Switch. Like, it seems impossible. It seems like there's magic happening. Tears of the
It's
Kingdom.
like Nintendo are good at what they do. It's crazy.
At some point I just got to agree with that, like, whether I like it or not, they're the masters. Like, goodness, what a game, what a ride. My number 2 is Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3, not Baldur's Grape, as Ryan has written here. Baldur's Gate 3, went into this game looking for any chance I could be a detractor, honestly. Like, I will say, the hype train for this game was off the fucking rails. Everyone was saying, oh my God, this is like the greatest RPG of all time, the greatest game of all time. This game does things that no other game does and is the most blah, 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 blah. And I'm going into it like, no fucking chance. No chance. Like, you guys are just overhyping this. And while I don't necessarily agree on all those points, this is a damn good game. This is a, like, super fun to play,
good time.
Super great ensemble. It's a very good game. I would say the only thing keeping it from number 1 is I did experience quite a few, like, technical issues, glitches, some crashes, some, like, visual stuff. It's not as polished as a Spider-Man 2 or
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom, which is nuts to say. But yeah, like, just comparing, like, those games, that's honestly the one thing keeping it from number 1 for me, is that, like, it did have kind of significant, like, out of any of the games I played this year, it's probably, like, the most buggy game I've played this year. But it makes up for that with just a truly enjoyable experience, and I enjoyed the 135 hours or whatever Kayla and I put it in.
Woo!
Very playable on a gamepad, right?
Loved it. I thought I didn't. I honestly like the UI on the gamepad. I've seen the UI for
PC,
like PC, and I don't really dig it. It's like the icons and stuff. It's on radials in the on the controller on, like, we played it on Xbox, or no, we played on PS5, and I think it all works really well. It's the interface is really good. Most of the technical issues were in just, like, animations would lag and stuff like that, and then we had some crashes and stuff. But no, the control scheme,
we had some crash.
I dug it.
And that sucks because it does not save as often as you're used to games saving. Yeah. Like, big moments, big story moments would even happen. Yeah. And you're like, the fuck, that was 2 hours ago. You didn't save?
It can be
get in the habit of saving after every big moment.
Yeah. And I hope that, 6 months down the line they'll get that all figured out, and for anyone playing new, they'll have the most wonderful experience, because it's very good. Number 1. Number one, this is very similar to House of Usher for me. Like, I'm just a mark for this, and I don't know, they hit the mark. Alan Wake 2, from the opening cinematic to controlling Nightingale in a very like True Detective in the woods kind of way. I was hooked, and at no point was I not at least intrigued with where is this going? What am I like? Where is this all going to go? I thought it was one of the prettiest games I've ever seen and played. I know some people ran into technical issues. They weren't present at all for me. Lucked out in that, and I think that really matters because this game is doing some visual shit that I just like haven't seen in other games, with its mix of live action and digital, and just like it's a weird, wacky ride. It's quite funny and bizarre and also brutal.
Very unique.
It's kind of got everything. I talked about it earlier. I was a little soured by the lack of a full and truly like end, I guess, but it's the game I've like thought the most about, I think, this year, and the game I'm most excited to see, like, wherever Control 2 goes, wherever Alan Wake 3 goes. I'm fully on board for the Remedy connected universe. I think I'm gonna play fucking Quantum Break because of this game. Like,
no shit.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I got it
That's
downloaded.
Idea.
It's part of this game. Like, I don't know. It just like
They're like 100 gigs of a TV show you gotta download.
probably. I'm excited for like Max Payne, which I've never been, but now they're remaking those, and like I want to see what that is. Like, I've never played a fucking Max Payne game or been interested in Max Payne, but I am, and Alan Wake 2 infected me with that. So Alan Wake 2 is my game of the year 2023.
The most interesting game, I don't know, of the year, like just the most swings for sure. Like, not my favorite Remedy game, but a well done, well made game. I did have a few bugs playing it. More funny ones, if anything. Not really too many game breaking things, but I don't know. I loved the stuff with Saga. The Alan stuff, not so much. At the end of the day, and Ilmo and Yako they could have been character on the top characters for sure.
They were on my long list. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Saga's the superior storyline. I think most people agree.
I would.
Yeah.
Very cool. It was very surreal to have Max Payne in this game as Alex Casey, and just something we might never get again now because the voice actor kind of died shortly after the game came out, which was, I don't know if that news kind of, I don't know, seemed like it wasn't really known.
I agree. It
wasn't really a big deal, but
so weird.
Especially with their remaking Max Payne 1 and 2, which is like kind of, you need that guy. So I hope it doesn't affect, too much from that. Maybe Troy Baker can sound like anyone. He can just be Max Payne. Excited as all, like, just like Eric for whatever Remedy can do next.
D, are you still sticking with us, or?
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to take my graceful exit. I do have to get going.
Okay, we will do your games right.
D, I want to just ask you feel really good about Hi-Fi Rush? You want it on there? Or is there something you got to see?
If I had to, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sacrifice a thing so that I can make sure a thing stays on there, get rid of Hi-Fi Rush so I can see Sea of Stars stay in the top 5.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah, you're good. You're good, buddy. I won't let you down.
All right. But yeah, it's been fun, guys. Let me say, like, this has been such a fun, like, just being to do the NOTYs with you guys.
Awesome.
And just again, and then like, I mean, even when I was just a listener, it was like this was like something I looked forward to. I was like, all right, now I have a list of things to add to my backlog and things that I absolutely have to check out. So, and there's a lot to check out. I'm really excited. I'm going to watch Barry for sure. That's definitely bumped up there. So,
guys, did it get dusty in your rooms or just mine?
Oh, yeah.
It's always so fun just being able to like talk about the things that you watched. I feel like you just gain so much more when you can discuss something.
yeah.
Absolutely. D, it's great having you. It was wonderful having your picks and everything on the lists. You bring such a different, cool flavor, and I love it.
Thanks,
Thanks,
coming,
guys.
man.
Of course.
Until
And
next
I'll
time.
see you in the
D.
next.
All right.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So we've still got Kayla and Mike on the docket. Kayla, you can keep going
I
with
can go
best
next?
games. Yeah.
Okay, let me get my sheet. Games. Okay. My number 5 is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, because I was afraid it wouldn't get its due, and I think that in a year of so many games, we're challenged with like something like Jedi Survivor and something like Spider-Man that are like just so good and solid, we expect them to be that good and solid. We know we're getting that from them, so they're easy to look over when you do have so many this year. But Jedi Survivor, I love Cal. I love BD1. I love fighting with the lightsaber. It's so fucking cool. The traversal in this is so fucking cool. The characters are cool. You got Scuba
Steve.
Indeed.
Thank you. I'm like, I
Correct.
can't say not Scuba Steve. It's just so much fun. It's so pretty. It's puzzly at times. I love the Jedi Survivor. I love Cal. Love Jedi Survivor.
Oh,
Jedi,
man.
Star Wars stories, whatever they're technically called.
Star Wars Jedi : is how. Yeah.
Just the whole thing. I just wanted to make sure it got mentioned. Another one that I also just wanted to make sure got mentioned is Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that Aaron's not here to rain down fury on it because I understand his gripes of like, okay, you get out of the castle and you do a lot of the same stuff. Like, yeah, you do. And the fighting is so cool, but you get overpowered and you're like, you're restricted. You can't. There's so much more that it can do, but this was just their first time, and I think they came out fucking swinging. This is the most sold game of 2023. They broke records. They gotta get on the board.
Kayla loves the records.
Why have numbers and judgments on things and
You're
not
right.
recognize them?
I love the numbers. I love stats.
It was so like I almost put in my best moment, or I didn't know how to figure out how to do this, so I decided to just put it in as game. But like the you're gonna have to cut this out because I'm so embarrassed that I can't think of the room of requirement.
There you go. You got it.
It's like if you're into like, even I'm not a sim builder, but the room of requirement, like you go out into the wild, you catch all these animals, you bring them to the room, and you have like a swamp area and a beach area, and you get to bring like your thestrals and your unicorns and your frog people and your cat people, and you get to mate them and create different ones. You can only have so many in there, and you get to play with them and feed them and brush them, and it's very soothing and it's very beautiful. and it's fun to go out and capture them. It's fun to fight, but you are very overpowered, and the goblins that you're fighting, like, storyline ends pretty quickly. So it just leaves me wanting more. They just couldn't give us enough, but they did a damn good job.
I think it's the most well realized like location maybe in a game. Like they took that Hogwarts castle and that like every inch of it
dig in.
Yeah, every inch of it is explorable, is interactive, is
I got my mandrakes growing. Like, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, I think it's just not a game maybe for completionists, and that's Aaron. Like Aaron's like he's gonna platinum.
Yeah, he got that one
game,
bug that won't let him, and that game is shit.
But
I spent 500 hours playing it, but it's shit. Love you, Aaron.
Love you, Aaron.
Feel also, I love Harry Potter, and you can't. They can do wrong, but it was the best. It was like you were in the castle and got to explore it. It was the only time that has been so successful. So realize.
Yeah.
Number 3, RE4 remake.
Hell yeah.
Man, it is so much fun. So like smooth. I have a long history of Resident Evil love, but like was very young when they first came out and very hard to play with tank controls. And now the more modern ones are so much more fun. So this one I missed when it originally came out, and just getting into it. I've seen Eric play it, but getting into the remake where it's so smooth and it's so pretty. And it's all these scenes and stuff that I have seen before, but now I'm behind the wheel for the first time. Was such a beautiful, beautiful game. I loved it. Feels so good every time you get to stab them or kick them, and it was good.
I don't think it's going to matter in the final accounting, but we are including the Ada Wong DLC, right?
Like, yeah.
Because it needs to be said that that's also just phenomenal, like part of the piece. Yeah, like it's
right.
So good.
I love it. Number 2, I got Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
I kind of already said my piece on it. It was just so much fun. I had so many scenes that I wanted to include in best moments. I really liked the storyline. I really liked the powers, the what was the suit webbing, flight suit stuff.
The glide
took me a minute. Took me a minute to figure out like the movements of that. I was not very good at flying. I'm not very good at flying. Watching Eric play Prince of Persia right now, not that he's flying, but it's a whole lot of moving while you're floating. You're like, and I'm not good at flying, and so this game adapts. I can do it, and it's just so fun. Again, do you not want to be a Jedi fighting with lightsabers? Wizard fighting with fucking
wands,
magic. Leon Kennedy fighting with guns. Spider-Man fighting with spider powers. Sounds dope.
Yeah,
sounds like a lot of fun.
Got to do that this year.
Games are great. Anyways, number 1, Baldur's Gate.
Wow,
took me in, just swept me off my feet. I was not. You had to convince me to play, I would say. I was like, the fuck is this kid coming out of nowhere having sex with bears? Like, I don't want to do that. The fuck is wrong with y'all? Jeez. That was how I knew this game. That was how this game got marketed in my in my feed. Fuck you guys. Why are you doing that to me? I don't like it. And it wasn't until my friend Cullen was like, nah, you can just totally skip. Like, you don't have to do that. You can totally skip that. And I was like, oh, shit, really? It's like, yeah, you just don't make those choices. And I was like, oh, okay. I could do that. He's like, it's straight up Dungeons and Dragons. as a video game, and I was like, okay, that sounds fun, and I was hooked.
Hell yeah.
What do
Man,
we got bolted?
I hope we can get a Switch 2 later in the year and Baldur's Gate 3 on the Switch 2. I think that's the only way I could find the time to play.
Get you a Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's another option, but I'm already in for the Switch 2
Yeah,
or whatever. So.
So, yeah, let's do it. Let's write them.
Let's write them. Yeah, let's write Nintendo. Yeah. I think like especially early on in that game, we were like, I don't know, if we're gonna keep going. Like they were. It's a little bit of an on ramp.
It was like brutal, kind of as. Why wouldn't it be? You know, you just get in. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You didn't do any of your spells right. How come I can't do this spell anymore? Then you get to camp and you're like, okay, let's
resting.
Get equipped, look at some shit, and then because you're dropped right in, you're like,
yeah, it's a scary game for me. That's don't know if I can do it.
We'll get some crossplay going, and we'll Sherpa you.
Even
cool.
We can make it a game night once a month, and you can just come over and we can all 3 play, right?
I think it's only 2-player, like, split screen. Well, no, but we could. We could probably do that with like one on the
Another
PC,
system.
2 on the Xbox or on the PS5. Yeah, probably. So,
LAN party.
Yeah, LAN party. Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mike. What are your games for 2023?
Good year for games. My number 5. I'm glad I added it here as Chia. I'll be honest, a game I never wound up finishing, but what I played and what I experienced just kind of stole my heart. Chia's like it's a lot of what if Breath of the Wild, but it was more like Wind Waker vibe for sure. It's based on some kind of island nation, New
Caledonia.
Caledonia, yes, thank you. And it just really kind of paints the picture of what life is like in this area, and it's full of music and fun little parties and things like that, and animals everywhere, and you can just climb a tree and fling off the tree and Chia, she has this power to go enter any animal, like, and become them basically, and just flinging from a tree, becoming a bird, sailing up to a high place, finding a collectible or a stat boost or something. It has a really fun just loop of exploration, and it's just a great game. It was free on the PlayStation Plus network, whatever, and really enjoyed my time with it.
Great game.
Really thought it made my subscription worth it. My number 4 is Spider-Man 2. Really just kind of perfected this kind of game, the best movement in a game, maybe. Adding the gliding really just makes it so much snappier, and it's fantastic.
So fun.
Adding Miles and Peter, you get. I know a lot of people were kind of like, I like playing as Miles. I really enjoyed both characters' movesets a ton. I really just love that. Strike, dodge, strike. I have, my combo built up to do this cool thing. And I'm just going to keep doing cool shit throughout this whole fight.
Right.
And I thought the pacing and just the difficulty had it ramped up at the right pace. And I know people complain, it's another symbiote suit story. I've seen this before, but I never got to see it through Miles and never really got to experience how Miles would be affected by Peter's, changing and, having your mentor kind of desert you while you're going, and then finding another mentor kind of in the dude that killed your dad. Like, I don't know. It's Miles just has a really cool story in this. And, they just really improved everything, even the Mary Jane stuff, which people had a huge problem with in the first game. I thought kind of making her more like Ellie in this and giving her like a one-hit kill, like Switchblade type move was great. I didn't mind those sections at all. I really dug Craven.
Yeah, he's cool.
Just as, like as a Mr. X, nemesis type, just badass dude. Like,
Kill me.
And man, I collected everything, got everything, really just enjoyed my time with the game.
I love that you could easily do that. Like it's
yeah,
it's not bite sized, but it's like it's manageable, right? Like to do a lot.
Yeah. Loved, just building out that skill tree, getting all the suits. So many cool suits in this one. And just a fun ride. I can't wait to see what Wolverine is like when Insomniac's next game. And this was like a huge hit for Sony. It was like their best-selling game ever, I think. I know Kayla likes records with that.
This is when I talk to like, I guess let's say it's mostly like teenagers or something. I find a lot of kids nowadays don't play single player games. This is always what I recommend now. Like, just try Spider-Man 2. Like, it's so fun. Like, you can do this on your own. You can break apart from having to be with your buddies. You can do something on your own, and it's real fun.
Yeah. Let's make kids antisocial again. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's allow them to be alone with themselves.
No, that's a good call. Yeah, I hate that anyone's missing out on a wonderful comic book superhero experience because they're playing Minecraft for the 10,000th hour, whatever.
No, they're playing something super violent with the worst online community.
Yeah, down with Pal World, you're right.
No.
Oh, good stuff.
That was my number 4. Spider-Man 2, fantastic. Number 3, Resident Evil 4.
Mm-hmm.
They took one of my all-time favorite, just best games ever, and made it. I think they did enough to make it its own thing, and the two games exist separate from each other and are different enough for me to love both. And I see, it's in the only game in red right now. That's great. I think that village section is probably better than the original Resident Evil 4's village section. I remember playing that chainsaw demo, and if it was just that chainsaw demo that came out this year, it would have made my 5. It was so much fun. I'm not kidding. It was like one of that village sequence, like, seeing what they did to those enemies and how they improved just their tenacity and willingness to get at Leon and fuck him up, and having to deal with that was so fun. And great gunplay, great exploration. I love just finding treasures that I knew they would be there, and they were there, and it really, really made me feel good. To have the antique pipe in the same spot that it was, and have it in the same spot, but then everything else around that same spot be just different enough where it hits you like, oh, I'm here now. I'm in this specific section now. It doesn't look the same, but this treasure is here in this exact spot, so I know that it's this. And the Ada stuff being so much different, like than how Leon controls. Feeling Ada's just such a badass, having an ability to steal people's fucking shields and just to get around faster, and just a total package of a game. Really, just a powerhouse. The best action game maybe ever. I don't know. I loved it.
Mm.
My next is Sea of Stars. Talk about a game I loved, man. This I have such fondness for Super Mario RPG and Chrono Trigger, and this game slaps the two together with Mario RPG's combat system and Chrono Trigger's kind of plot, kind of bad. Just the way enemies are out, always visible to you on the battlefield. No random battles. A great cast of characters, great story, I think, and just a combat system that was so much fun, man. I love blocking. I love the idea that I know when they're going to attack me back, and if I can kill them before then, or just break their stamina, whatever, use Sarai's kick to just knock back that timer, so then I can just do a whole nother cycle of attacks. So great. The dual tech stuff was so fun. Building, like adding the things to build up your MP, to do your ultimate moves, like amazing boss fights in this game, amazing pixel art for the boss fights, like top-notch stuff. A lot of the side stuff would like reward you with these amazing kind of set piece bosses. And the Garl of it all. I love Garl. He's such a great character. And it was just like, oh, this was like what a One Piece game would be like, a One Piece JRPG or something, like assembling this kind of pirate crew at a time. And what did you guys think of the wild like 3D change to 3D moment that the game has?
Very bizarre. Kayla didn't see that, but just jarring. I mean, that whole sequence, like that happening, and then where you go to and every like in the future and all of that, like kind of just threw me for a loop in a lot of ways. Like it was like, whoa, what is going on here? That game took some swings, like like time after time. It was taking some swings.
Yeah, and just hats off to that team for making something that I think you could. When someone asks you, what is a good JRPG that I can play? And people are going to rattle off Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, the classics. And I think this one's got to be added to it, just as it's not that long. The battle system I never got tired of it. I love, some people don't like the really long attacks, the timing stuff. I love that shit. Perfecting Venom Flurry or Moonerang and these other kind of, things where you're hitting the enemy umpteenth times and it feels great every time. I love it. That's my number 2.
We should have nominated Sarai's kick as either best moment or best character. Either.
Thought about it. I thought about it, but then I just thought Garl was too important to leave out.
Yeah.
My number 1 is Tears of the Kingdom.
We have our second red.
Just sure. Someone wants to say hi.
Hey,
Eric.
Hey, how are you?
Hello,
Hi.
just to Eric. That's it.
I dig it.
Calvin. Oh man, that reminds me. I forgot to get Owen's top 5. I wanted to get that, but anyway.
Next episode.
Tears of the Kingdom. They did the impossible. They improved on my favorite game of all time in Breath of the Wild. Kind of just using that world again, but I didn't notice the abilities and the added with the undergroundness of it, with just the caves and then the underworld under all of that, was all I needed. I don't know, just giving me more to explore, more ways to figure things out, unbelievable puzzles in the shrines. Some of the most, that makes sense. Like, I could do that. Of course I can. I can do anything I want in this game, and it's great. And the underground stuff, but then all of the sky stuff, which I feel like I barely even touched, and just being able to use those towers, shoot 1,000 feet in the air, fly and glide wherever you want. It's the best. I don't know. It's something that we might not even get again. We never know what they're gonna do with the next Zelda. And for me, it's up there with like Phantom Pain, with just the best tool set in a game that it gives you. And this is it. We only got Phantom Pain once. Tears of the Kingdom, we're probably only going to get once. And to not have something like Ascend and God Hand or whatever, Ultra Hand, sorry, and something else is a crime. And everyone needs to just try to steal this and do it. I know it's impossible, but do it. Do it, developers. Try to do it.
Yeah. No, I had on my long list of best moments for a long time was using like shooting up the survey towers.
Yeah,
that is so. I did that often. Like, I love to fast travel.
That was how we traveled anywhere.
Oh yeah, fast travel to a tower, shoot myself up in the air, and get to my next destination. It just never didn't feel great. Like, it's so good. It's
loved what they changed with to the small stuff, like opening a chest. Oh, I have too much I can't carry this. Just being able to drop something from that menu and not having to go out of it into another menu, open the chest again, go through all those animations was just a brilliant fix. Adding adding parts to your weapons to just make them crazy strong, or give them some, make homing arrows. Perfect system. This game is just so many games are in this game. Like, the recall system could be its own game. Ascend is its own puzzle game, and it's fantastic. I loved going into the underworld and finding those camps and knowing that if I beat this camp, I'm going to be able to create a new cool vehicle. And it's just going to be maybe a derpy boat that shocks things, or it's going to be a cool airplane or a hovercraft. And I love that stuff. And this game is just chock full of wonder and adventure. And I love it.
Love that it let me, like, I'm not creative when it comes to building stuff or like trying to puzzle through those kind of things. That was really something I was afraid of going into the game, is like, oh man, am I going to have to be like this master builder? But like the fact that you could just like put a rocket on your shield and fly up into the air, and that can get you like a solution to a problem. Like, hell yeah, that is me. Or like, yeah, I can just tie a sword to another sword and now my sword's stronger. All right, cool. Like, I don't have to put much thought into it. Hell yeah, let's do that. So it's good stuff.
But then there's a lot of the other, like, the guy's trapped in a hole, the trumpet player for the band, and you need to get him out, and like with his whole carriage, and you're just trying to add wings and rockets and balloons and all sorts of weird things to get this guy safely out of this hole. And I stopped every time for the guy with the sign to help that man keep his sign from falling. I loved those every time it came up. God, what a game.
And frustrating, but failure was always still pretty funny. Like, you tie a rocket to a plane or something, and you're like, I could totally get over there with that. And you're just hilariously shoot into the ground or something. It was always funny, at least.
Oh, so many great frat falls and so many great success moments. Like, it's just a perfect balance of comedy and just feeling like, wow, I accomplished something. I did that. And hats off to Nintendo. They're the best.
Hell yeah. So I think this might be one of our easier deliberations here. We got to 100% locked in RE4 remake and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, they are bolded, underlined, italicized, and red at this point as well. So locked in. Spider-Man 2, bolded, italicized, and underlined. We had 4 nominations for Spider-Man 2, as well as Sea of Stars. D also said like that was the one he really wanted on the list. Mike spoke very passionately about it as well. So that kind of locks in 4 out of the 5 from the get.
I think we know what should be.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh yeah, come on! Like it's the game of the year for a lot of people.
Records,
I have to feel like if Aaron was here or had submitted a list, he is on his 3rd playthrough. Last time we talked of Baldur's Gate 3,
absolutely.
So he's
so
a
I
madman.
feel like it would have been highlighted, maybe.
I think it might have been or underlined something. Yeah.
I praise him for not being here to not fight me on Hogwarts, and now I need him here to help me with Baldur's Gate.
It's on there. It's up there. We know how great it is. We get it. We meaning me. I might be the only one that hasn't played it besides maybe Tomas. And I get it. I understand. It all sounds so good to me. Just me being able to execute on all that is what I worry about with the game. But I think that's a hell of a list.
That way at first, but you figure it out.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I hope to find out soon.
Overcome.
Yeah, I think you were about to say that's a hell of a list, Mike, and it kind of is. I think we might have gotten this one in one. It are the best games of 2023. Resident Evil 4 Remake, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. That's a typo there. Let's get that. So, are the best games of 2023 Resident Evil 4 Remake, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Sea of Stars, Spider-Man 2, and Baldur's Gate 3.
Hell yeah, I like it.
Look at that.
The best games.
Those are the best games. We're just so right about this. Guys, we just completed the Nonsense of the Year Awards, Part 3, times 3. I'm trying to say this is our 3rd time doing this in a way. Yeah, that was great. But anyone who's been listening or watching, this will probably amount to like 7 hours of deliberations and stuff. It usually is every year. So if you've stuck with us for these last 3 years and for these last 3 times of the NOTYs, thank you. It's always so much fun getting together and talking about the best and the worst of every year. It's something to look forward to on our end. I loved hearing that D would look forward to it in the past as a listener, and now he gets to do it as a contributor. That's so awesome. So thank you everyone for listening, watching, etc. This will be on video format if you prefer that, or audio format if you're like the audio format. So it's both. I don't know, anything else to add about the year that was 2023, guys?
Just another top-notch year. Hope we can keep, all the people that make all this great stuff can keep doing it with, and compensated fairly, not forcing, not too much crunch. Not too much, I
mean, it's not like we're not paying for it. Like we're consumers. People are paying. Like, let's figure it out.
Hell yeah! Let's get the money to the people who deserve it. I think so.
Right.
That's good. Good stuff. And not overwork them. Please be good to the
devs. Excited
devs.
for 2024.
Excited for 2024. That's what I kind of wanted to lean into. It's always fun looking back at the year and getting ready for the next year. We got Oscars coming up too. We're trying to watch all those nominated Best Picture movies. Eric and I recently watched Poor Things. So we're making our way through the list.
We will get there.
Oscars March 10th, Mario Day.
Yeah, hell yeah. And hopefully we'll get our good friend Katie to come on. I think this will be the third time she's been able to come on and talk Oscars with us. So we will we'll get that going. It's also February, so it's almost Valentine's Day. We'll have some kind of Valentine's Day something coming up for you guys. We'll put together something there, maybe a Jeopardy game or something. We'll see. But once again, thank you guys for listening, watching, and supporting the Machine of Nonsense. And check us out. We're all over social media at the Machine of Nonsense. If you want to drop us a line, you can either put a YouTube comment out there. Every single episode is now on YouTube, some in video format, most in audio format. And you can also drop us a line at machineofnonsense@gmail.com. All right, guys. That's it. The NOTYs are wrapped up. Day 3 is in the books.
We did it.
We did it. And we are getting out of here. And we're saying goodbye.
Bye.
So long.
Nice.